If you fit the Asian beauty standard, there's a high chance your hairstyle is giving you extra points on the beauty scale. Voluminous hair that's smooth, shiny and long for women, and soft, sleek, and clean cut for men. Hair also affects how the rest of your facial features look. It's all about creating harmony and balance.
Is bald not in Asia? No. The secret behind perfect hair in Asia. It's a scam. Let's see what this scam is about.
Related to hair, which made me realize the importance of having a full head of hair on your head. It protects your scalp from getting sunburned, keeps you warm at night, and generally it does make you look more attractive.
Oh man, what would he say about this? He wouldn't like it.
Whole head in bleach, dip the ends in bleach, and wash it all off in a nice soothing bath made of bleach.
Not sure how healthy that is for his hair.
Like, does anyone know why I still have hair on my head after bleaching it for 2 years straight?
Good question.
Remember when I talked about balancing your facial features using your hair? There's another new beauty trend people are discovering called a high cranial top, which is basically just adding a lot of volume to the top of your head. According to science and something called the golden ratio, if you separate your face into 3/3, the more similar they are in length to each other, the more attractive you're supposed to look.
Actually, when we are talking of the facial harmony, what we do is that we divide the face into 3 parts. Below the nose up to chin, almost the height of the nose, and above that. So when these 3 parts are equal, your face is considered more harmonious.
They don't have to be perfectly equal, but there is this concept of horizontal thirds of the face, and keeping them in some degree of similarity is a good thing usually, but again, everyone's going to have different facial composition and people can look extremely beautiful with disproportionate horizontal thirds.
There's a K-pop idol who recently seemed to have a glow up out of nowhere, but in reality, all she really did was change up her hairstyle to balance out her upper third, which sounds like a bunch of fake words I just made up, but trust me, it's real.
If you want to know how Itzy Chaeryeong glowed up, then you need to watch this. Recently, Chaeryeong is receiving favorable reviews from netizens after changing her style. So what has actually made her look so attractively?
So this isn't necessarily changing your horizontal thirds because the distance that she has of her forehead is still the same. Hairline looks about the same, but she just looks to have a different hairstyle. So that's very different from changing the actual horizontal third. So someone who gets, say, a hairline lowering surgery when their hairline is very high, that could change the horizontal thirds. But something like this is just bringing a different hairstyle, different degree of volume to her hair.
Even I noticed this, but I couldn't really put my finger on what was different. Like, I didn't think it was a good old K-pop idol plastic surgery metamorphosis. It was just a fresh new haircut with some volume at the top.
That's pretty much what it is. That's very different from surgically adjusting the hairline, where you get a complete different shape and form than what the person had prior.
There are a lot of negative connotations with thinning hair and male pattern baldness.
Sure are, that's right.
The stuff on the top of our heads can affect your quality of life so much and how you're treated in society. A Korean study in the International Journal of Dermatology found that balding men were considered older and less attractive by 90% of non-bald respondents. In 2018, National Human Rights Commission of Korea had to urge employers not to discriminate against hairless men after a building management company was accused of asking someone to wear a wig during his job interview and rejecting him on account of his bald head, according to the Yonhap news agency. Like, these people are just bald, not incompetent. You ever work with a dumb coworker before? It's like talking to a brick wall that annoys you. I'd rather take one bald guy that's really good at his job than 5 guys with hair. They're just gonna shed and leave hair all over the ground anyways. You know, ideally, we'd want to live in a world where your appearance isn't the first thing people judge you on, but unfortunately, that's not how it works in this day and age, which kind of sucks if it's—
I don't think it's just this day and age, I think it's all throughout history as well.
That's why we have wigs and other cosmetic treatments that can give you the illusion of having hair. Some of these transformations are actually insane. Like, I would have never suspected that these people had no hair underneath their hair.
Yeah, we don't often talk about wigs or hairpieces on this channel, but it definitely is an option for people who don't want to get surgery, don't have enough donor supply, and are very advanced for male pattern loss. They can consider a piece, you know, for sure. And women wear wigs all the time.
他是在湖南，现在在湖南的一个电视台在工作，因为他自己就是说脱发嘛，他比较自卑，然后导致说可能错过了一个很好的一个发展的机会。然后他上我们家来做完头发呢，这个人当时就很激动，他说如果说我要再早些我能发现你们家，可能我现在的就说各个方面吧。 像这个个人的发展啊什么的，肯定都会更好。
The problem with the hairpieces is that people feel like they're not being like their authentic self, and they're always worried that, hey, if something displaces, people will find out, that I had this type of wig on. There are, of course, real limitations, and there's also the cost factor that goes into having these hairpieces and the constant upkeep of them as well.
You could go with the shaved head route if you wanted, which is considered a more masculine trait, but that also comes with its own set of stereotypes. There is more acceptance.
Yeah, sometimes all or nothing is the way to go. When you're stuck in between, that's the hardest place when it comes to hair loss.
For these super short hairstyles here, for men at least, you have famous celebrities known for being bald, like The Rock and Bruce Willis, who are considered to be good looking and fit the definition of
Jeff Bezos, you can be extremely successful bald.
Hair extensions are super common for idols, so they could be even balder underneath. It's not secrets in the hair. It's $2,000 worth of 1B hair extensions. There's even something called hair powder that originated from Asia, which is just temporary makeup for your scalp. Fill in the gaps if you're sparse in some.
Yeah, basically camouflage. Here we have an option like topic powder or something similar. And yeah, that can be used for camouflage. Scalp micropigmentation can be used as well. And then of course all these extensions and wigs, very common.
Maybe this is a secret to all of the Korean celebrities' snatched hairlines. This came with its own sponge applicator and a teeny tiny mirror for touch-ups. It's also pretty easy to use. I just applied it in a swiping motion to
Sometimes when it comes to hair transplant surgery, people think that it's just for men, but women are getting hair transplant surgeries too, especially to improve the hairline. So that's something that some of those celebrities may have gotten.
She applied huge amount of hairline powder, like she's smearing asphalt. Although she claimed her full head of shiny and smooth hair is genetic, the internet has a good memory. The gusts of wind easily expose her secrets. When her hair is tied up in a costume drama, her baldness behind the ears shows how much she relies on hair extension and hairline powder.
It really does look like they just smeared it on with a brush meant for painting walls. We have blending brushes now, just ask any influencer with a code. If you're looking for a more permanent solution, you could go with a hair transplant, which is actually the #1 cosmetic procedure for men in India. Indian people are pretty well known for having full heads of hair that look shiny and healthy, but it's
It's actually the most common plastic surgery for men all around the world.
Yasser is an HR manager in New Delhi who documented his hair transplant journey and the botched up procedure on his YouTube channel.
If you want to take a risk, then go ahead and get the surgery. Yeah, I mean, surgery always has risks, right? So that's why you have to be smart about where you're going, who you're choosing, and not just going with the cheapest option and doing your own research thoroughly.
पैसे फूके, टाइम फूका, मेडिसिन गई, लुक गया, 8-9 महीने हो गया, सिर्फ यही है हेयरलाइन.
Oh my, that looks so bad. And that costed money?
Well, the thing is that in a case like that gentleman there, the angulation of the hair compared to his natural was very much off. And that's what's causing the hair to fall so flat compared to his natural hairline. So it's very important when doing hair transplants to try to match the angulation and the direction of hair growth, especially when you're working at the hairline.
There is always a risk with cosmetic procedures. Just because it works for someone doesn't mean that it's going to work the same for you.
Smart man. That he's right. And that's exactly what I tell everyone. Some patients will come to me with a specific picture off of my website or off of someone else's website, and they'll say, this is what I want. But the problem is when they're starting with a different type of anatomy, you can't just turn them into that person that they might want to be. So they have to be realistic about what can be achieved based on their own anatomy and their presenting appearance.
You choose me or you don't choose me, but choose the doctor wisely.
That's insane. You can just open up a clinic with...
And I always tell people, choose the surgeon. Don't choose the name of the clinic or, because you saw an ad somewhere, but pick your surgeon and everything else should fall into place.
No training at all? You really can't trust anyone these days. This is a really interesting topic. It's fascinating seeing the different ways people can experience something, especially with something as common as hair. It does seem like society loves picking new beauty standards from a hat to focus on for a year until we see another thing we want to focus on, and everyone's just gonna feel worse about themselves every year. Hair is super personal.
As this video starts to come to an end, I have to say that medical therapy is something really important that isn't even brought up in this video, and oftentimes is not brought up when you go to even, say, a hair transplant surgeon. It's critical for the overall state of your hair. Whether it's a woman or a man that you're treating, you need to consider medical therapies. And so we spend a lot of time in this channel bringing up what those are, whether it's minoxidil, facial, finasteride, PRP, laser light therapy, microneedling. I mean, all these things have value, and it's not just about getting a surgery or not getting a surgery or wearing a wig. There are these other medical therapies that are really critical to be able to evaluate and to properly administer when dealing with hair loss.